welcome to today's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have actor, producer, writer, director, musician, Tim O'Hearn, or O'Hearn, as we've discussed. Tell us about yourself, sir.
I've been doing films, independent acting for about 15 years now. Been in various features, shorts, been on some of the reenactment TV shows. Also musician, photographer, just about name it, I guess.
And I've noticed this a lot with independent filmmakers is you have to wear many hats. You got to be the jack of all trades because, I can't remember which one it said. Is the only one person that you can always trust is yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. You sent me your short, The Door. I really like that. That is, I don't want to give a whole lot away. Time travel is involved, Old West and whatnot. And the fact that you did that not far from where I live, it's still an hour and a half away, but you're in New York? Couldn't remember.
Yeah, I'm in upstate, southern tier.
Okay. And that you're coming all the way over here closer to me to film. And I didn't know this place existed until you told me. I was like, wow, I need to go there now. So
yeah, definitely.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, actually, we're going to be there late April. We're going to do some behind the scenes, like interviews and footage and things for Showdown, and we're going to shoot a music video. I have a musician friend of mine doing the title song for the movie, and we're going to shoot a music video for him there at Dogwood.
Cool. Now, so those who don't know, The Door is a teaser or short version of the Showdown, which I just lost it on my phone here, which is the extended full-length theatrical movie. And that you got Vernon Wells of Mad Max and Commando fame there.
Right.
That's crazy. That's my buddy is a huge Vernon Wells fan. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be there to watch that one. So
Bert plays the town tycoon. Has all the money, thinks he runs the town type thing.
It's just pretty normal stuff. Whoever has the most money rules the town, right?
Right.
And the title is Showdown in Yesteryear. That is now you don't play the sheriff this time. I see.
No.
Nope. Different guy.
So there's kind of a story behind that for the Door, the short. So I got there to film the day before we started filming, and the guy that was going to play the sheriff, because they do Wild West reenactment shows at Dogwood Pass where we shot it. And the guy who was going to play the sheriff fell off the back of the wagon during one of the shows and busted his face open. He was in the hospital for a couple of days. So again, like you said, kind of many hats. So I ended up stepping up and playing the sheriff in The Door.
That's pretty incredible that like I said, I mean, for those who don't know, I live in Ohio. This was filmed near Columbus, and that fact that there is a small Wild West town in near Columbus, Ohio is pretty cool. And it, I mean, from The Door, that's a pretty impressive little area right there. You know how big it is by chance?
I'm not sure. All I know is Mike, the guy that owns it and runs it, they're always adding buildings. Like I was there in October, was it? Yeah, last part of October, because a friend of mine from Buffalo was interested in shooting a movie there. So we took a trip down there. And he had put like 2 or 3 new buildings up since the last time I was there last year.
Nice.
Just,
the short is 15 minutes long. What was your shooting schedule like on that?
So we were at the Western town for 2 days, and then we took a day and shot all the other stuff at the house and modern day.
Cool. Now, like I said, I really like it. It's I'm impressed. That is a well put together short. It's I like the guy that you got as the bumbling Old West geek guy. That
so he's the main character in Showdown as well. Same actor.
Nice. Oh, there he is. Jeff.
Yeah. Yep. Jeff Grinnell.
Yeah. He I just love the whole thing with him trying to put the eye patch on and then putting the glasses over there. Yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie. I've known a couple people who like I said, I live in Ohio, small town, but there's guys that I've known since high school, junior high, and they think that they're cowboys to this day. That they're the ones that got the big floor length duster with which I've had duster coats on, but they're never like the cowboy ones with the
right
straps to go around, cowboy hat, like it's summer in Ohio, dude. Okay. I just saw you on another movie because I just talked to Donna recently, and Hell's Cats Revenge 2. How'd that one work out for you on that set there?
No, that was good. I've done like 4 films for Len now, I believe. That was the last one.
Yeah, because you did the other one I gotta watch, but I have not got to yet. Is I really need to see Challenge of the 5 Gauntlets. That's
one of my favorites from Len. So I think Donna hit on, that's like a kung fu movie.
Mm-hmm.
I always say it's like an old 80s Sunday afternoon kung fu movie type thing, something you watch in the 80s, Sunday afternoon. Yep. So I don't know kung fu or any kind of martial arts, so I'm just the big brute that tries to take him out. But
oh yeah. That's it. It's like I said, that's the one I haven't got to. I got to watch Hell's Cats Revenge. That's a fun movie. I like that. You're Seslak.
Yeah.
such an awesome name there. Now, are you working on any movies currently outside of Showdown?
Showdown. Well, I've finished up shooting a couple of movies. One I believe I sent you the trailer to, Burned Over District, which is like Midsommar meets Hereditary. It's kind of a thriller. And then I did Guns of Eden this past summer with Greg Lamberson. It's an action movie. It's like a Rambo First Blood, only it's a female.
That's cool.
I got to play a guy in the redneck militia. Is what what I was. I had the big fight scene with her in that as well. So
the one I told Donna too that I'm looking forward to, just because I'm big into the sword and sorcery stuff, is you got the king, the swordsman, and the sorceress listed here.
Right.
So is that one?
Yeah, we haven't shot that one yet.
What's funny is that you talk about, was it Guns of Eden, female Rambo? That's pretty cool. I've got a script I've been kicking around forever. I need to finish working on, called A hard woman is good to find. It's all about these guys, these kids are on the run. They end up finding this veteran. This this she's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and they're on the run. She ends up fighting for them, and she has no name through the entire movie. I don't even know if I want to have her have any dialogue either. Just have this like brutal woman come out of nowhere and just start laying waste to everybody.
There you go.
You
Needs
gotta love
dialogue for that.
Oh man. So you got here's the best one. I love this title. The Pumpkin Bitch. It says that you're the pumpkin bitch. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a pumpkin bitch.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Some of these are the best names ever for your character. Now, do you know the name of the character, or they just go, "We need you to stand over here and look tough. You're just gonna be a badass dude over here." So,
well, in Burned Over District, I think I'm just the what was it? Long-haired guy in the trench coat or something like that.
I think that's right. I think it's their like long-haired trench coat man.
Yeah,
trench coat. Oh, just trench coat man is what you're listed as. Hey, better than me. I'm listed in. I'm in 2 movies, and I'm listed as office party goer, and the other one's not listed. But the director told me I was murder cult rapist. So 2. I was the second guy, so I was. I was like, oh, thanks. Is that what you think of when you're yeah, okay, but
so I was going to tell you one of the other movies I have on Tubi right now that you would probably enjoy is called Killer Rack. And yes, it's about this woman that she wants to have a killer rack, basically. Goes to the plastic surgeon, but her boobs are alive, the new ones that she gets, and they kill people. So Greg Lamerson directed that one, and actually actor friend of mine, Paul McGinnis in Buffalo as well, he wrote it. He had submitted it to the Buffalo Film Festival, the script. Mm-hmm. Greg's one of the directors of that, and it won the best script. And then Greg got a hold of him and was like, we really need to make this movie. So what I call it, the Zucker brothers who did Airplane, if they did a horror movie, it would be Killer Rack. That's the kind of humor it is. So
well, I think I saw that on a list of recently. It's like the top 10 weirdest killer movies, and it's like up there with the pants, the car tire, and
Rubber,
rubber, and slacks, and like deathbed in the lift and stuff like that. But I think I saw that was like the Killer Rack was like number 7 or something, if I remember right. But I didn't know that was yours until like last night when I was going through your IMDb preparing for this. That's what I always end up doing is going through and asking questions about making these movies. And you were in Death House.
Yeah. Have you watched that?
Huh?
Or tried?
I've not watched Death House yet, and I know somebody, a friend of a friend's in it too, so it's one of them things.
Yeah.
Oh man. There's Killer Rack. Your Gears.
Yep, Gears. I play a 80s corner rocker, 80s rocker on the corner, kind of like Jay and Silent Bob type thing. Me and another guy blasting 80s tunes on the corner and catcalling women. So I don't know why they'd cast me in that, but
I remember I used to get like that, but the years of having the years of having long hair for me is long gone now. I'm getting, as I tell my now 11-year-old, I was like, before you came along, I used to have hair. So,
yeah.
And I'm not drinking a beer. I'm drinking an energy drink here. Got dry throat.
Yeah, so Evil Under the Skin is on Tubi as well. That's one of the ones that Donna and I were in together.
Now, did you? Oh, there it is, right there. Evil Under the Skin. Hey, you're just Matt.
Yep, I'm just Matt. Donna's creepy brother.
Now, when did you guys start working together? Is because I've seen your works in several movies together here. So
yeah, it's been a while. There was actually a movie that we didn't work together in. It was an anthology, but we had parts in it. Like, it was kind of weird. I didn't even know, I didn't even know that until we met and we're talking and stuff. But so that was called Dead Ink. It was all the films, all the movies, all the shorts in that had to do with tattoos. It's a horror movie.
Yeah,
there's some pretty stuff in that one.
Yeah. Now, what got you started in the filmmaking and acting and whatnot?
I mean, I've always been interested in it. I've always been fascinated, even as a kid, on actually special effects, practical special effects. I was always fascinated, on how they do that type thing. I had a subscription to Fangoria when I was a teenager.
I think all of us did.
You're right. So, and I actually made a little film on 8mm when I was like 13. It was kind of my rendition of I Was a Teenage Frankenstein. So, but yeah, it was later when I actually started getting into acting and stuff. A friend of mine was like, hey, they were shooting a movie up in Buffalo. She's like, because she played in a punk band as well, and our band used to gig together, and she's like, you should get into acting, like this type thing. So I don't know, that's kind of how it started. And then from there I ended up getting a headshot done and got hooked.
So is acting, which is your first love? Is it the music? Is it the acting? Is it the directing? Or not your first love, but your main love right now?
I don't know. Right now I've been getting more into production end of things, writing, and doing my own films. I think there's more inner enjoyment in that, as far as, that's your film, like,
yeah,
not just something you acted in, but it's something that you made, basically. So
yeah, because I can definitely see that, because that's more of you in it than
right.
and your vision than you being in somebody else's vision, and
Right.
I could definitely see that. Now, is music? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is music your first love? You just said you were.
Yeah, I've been playing drums now for 40 years or so. And it runs in the family. There's actually 5 drummers in my family. So,
that's a loud house.
What's that?
That'd have to be a loud house.
Well, not all of my immediate family. My cousin Cindy is a drummer. Her dad, my uncle, is the one that really got me interested in it. And then I have 2 nephews that play. One actually plays for the Oak Ridge Boys right now.
Cool.
He's been with them for 3 years, 3 or 4 years. So yeah, he packed up and moved to Nashville when he was about 30, or actually in his 20s, I think.
So, hey, if you're going to play drums in a country band, going to Nashville is probably the place to go.
Actually, Nashville's a big metal city too, as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until relatively recently, and we were planning on going down to Nashville like last summer. Me and my kids were going to my older sons and stuff, and a friend of ours would like just a guy trip, and then everything was going on. We're like, maybe we'll postpone it a year. So hopefully this year we'll get down there, because it's like we want to go down for food and music. And so, I know there's like this one area, so it's like club food.
Yeah, the Strip. Have you ever been there?
Been through it, stopped for something to eat, and that was about it. I probably was there when I was a kid, but I don't remember as an adult. I probably haven't been there. So
No, I like it there. I like it down there.
yeah,
I've been there quite a few times now visiting.
so it sounds like it. I mean, music wise, that's one of the, like, I guess in the Nashville, the Midwest, or the North, South, or whatever. That's where people go. Because
Yeah, I mean, it's literally 7 nights a week. If you want to go see music, it's there.
yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons we want to go. We want to go for about 3 days for nothing but music and food. Because
Yeah.
as I've gotten older, I don't drink anymore, so I have to, if I go any place, it's for food and music. So, but
Yeah, I didn't realize it was big into metal. Years ago in the 90s, I was in a band and I got the songwriters, I forget what it's called. It's a book they put out every year.
It's like the Who's Who thing.
Well, they list all the like record companies, places to send your demos and all that. This was back before you do it over the internet. That's when you had to actually send in a tape and everything. But I was surprised on how many addresses were Nashville, Tennessee. Like, I was like, wow, I didn't even think there would be a metal scene there. But
well, you talk about that. I was like, I remember back in the day going to concerts, and like, you had the opening band that you'd never heard of was outside handing you their cassette demos that they had made. Right. And a friend of mine found a whole bunch of those, and he's like, you know how much some of these are worth now? And he had like some of these bands, like when they first started, like big name bands now, and you're just like, oh. So I go literally digging through my cassette tapes that I still have floating around. I'm like, man, I got a crap load of demos for bands I've never heard of again.
Yeah, I still don't know who they are.
Still don't. Did they even? I actually got on the computer and like looked some of them up, and one of them actually had done something, but they not under that name. That band name, they had like, right, I guess made it big, found out that name had existed, so they changed it to another name, and then now that they what, C-level band, not quite A or B, but yeah. Now you're in a punk band with push rods. Do you do do you do music for your own movies as your punk band? Or any of your bands, I should say.
No, we haven't really. Well, actually, so I can't say that. So not for my movies. Actually, we wrote a song for Marcus Cook, who's a filmmaker, great special effects guy. That's his main thing. I don't know if you know who he is. He's done quite a bit of stuff.
Name sounds familiar.
Koch is the last name.
All right.
But it was a movie that never ended up getting funded that he was doing. We wrote a song for it.
That's cool. Now,
and we wrote it and recorded it, and then the movie never got made, but the song kicks ass, so who cares?
Do you play it live? Is it on any of your albums? Is what's important.
Yeah, it is actually, and we play it usually. So
now, you got a punk band. You said you did metal, and I always ask this: what was the name of your first band?
The first band, first band, or consider a real band?
Okay, both. So like if you made one in junior high, because of course those names are always horrible, and then the one that you actually like, your first band where you like were legit trying to put forward effort and stuff like that.
Trying to think of the first one, the name. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great. Because like I said, I actually started kind of late. Like I was interested in it when I was in high school. I had buddies that played in bands and stuff. I always hung out with them. And then after I graduated is when I really started playing. And I'm self-taught. I took lessons a few times, but I just learned by ear.
I learned how to play drums in high school, and I only learned how to play one thing, but I learned how to play it pretty well. Is I could play most of the drum solo from In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. And I got up behind my friend's brother's drum kit one time, and I start playing it, and his brother's like, "That's pretty good. What else can you play?" Nothing. Not a damn.
Nothing.
He's like, "You learned that?" I was like, literally, because I lived in the country out and one of my favorite things was I put on my albums and stuff, and I had the Iron Butterfly single, so just one whole side was In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, and I just kept listening to it over and over again. And I'm sitting there, so I'd sit over at another friend's house, and I sit there and start just listening to it, and I just okay. And and I was like, it kept going on, and I just kept learning until I finally got it. And then it was like, oh, can you put not a damn thing? You couldn't. I can play a drum roll. All right, there.
I think the first band name was just something like Alien or something. I don't know. It was just something pretty generic.
That's always everybody says. I've talked to other people in bands, and they're like, "What was your?" We had one that was like Black Widow, or I'm like, but there's like 20 bands named Black Widow. Well, we were in high school,
Right.
Now, when you are now, do you have multiple bands, or you just have the push rods right now?
Just to push that other the prog rock song I had sent you.
Oh, it's the prog rock. That's the
Victor's Castle was the name.
Victor's Castle, yeah.
That was just a recording project, pretty much. I mean, that's not. We didn't start out that way, but by the time we actually even finished that song, the band had fell apart. So those deals.
Hey, I had friends in high school. I had friends in high school that they got a record deal like right out of high school, and before their album was done, the band was done.
Yeah.
They already had problems with their lead singer going into making the album, and by the time they were done, they all hated each other and they all went their separate ways. Basically, they got the money for the record, which is like $2,500. They split it amongst the five of them. Like, did you ever make money off the album? I ran into him about 10 years ago, and I was like, did you ever make money off that? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I have no idea who has it. I have no idea. He goes, hell, I could be a millionaire for all I know. But he said, because he goes, that's the one thing. He goes, I learned, that was one of the things they fought about it, I guess, was you find out that the record companies and stuff like that have really creative accountants. So that if they give you money up front to put an album together, that's probably all you're ever going to make is the money that they paid you up front. So
yeah.
Now I really
process.
Like,
that whole process reminds it's like making a movie, kind of. You go in and record all the different parts, and so.
Did you did it all separately, or like
similarities? So well, not every album that we've done. I've actually we recorded through 3 new Pushrod songs last April. We did that. The rhythm tracks were done together. Bass, drums, and rhythm guitar were recorded live, and then we overdubbed the leads and the vocals. But especially for punk, I feel like that's the way to do it. It gives it that more raw energy, live feel to it. Because we had worked with a producer and recorded a couple albums in the studio, and it just we all said the same thing. Everybody in the band was like, it's it's great, but it's like for punk music to us, it's overproduced because it doesn't have that raw feel to it. So
yeah, it's know a couple punk bands around here locally, and they'll get together, put out a 7-inch single or whatever, because that's all they have time for. But they'll pound out one song in like a weekend or something like that, where they're all together. They all record it. It's not like they got the lead guitar over here recording the lead track. You got the bass. You got this, and this. No, it's just 4 guys together, pounding it out, playing, and then record it, put it out.
Right.
And
yeah, we did the 3 songs in a weekend, basically like a day and a half. Like I said, we did the rhythm tracks live, and then just tracked the vocals and the leads. So
yeah. Joe, just lost my train of thought. Sorry. No, which do you find easier? Do you find movie making easier, or like going into the recording or playing music?
I don't know. I'm a wreck when I go into track drums, to be honest with you. Like, but usually, I mean, I go in prepared. Like when I go in to track my drum tracks, like I'm usually 2 to 3 takes at the most, and I'm on. And when we recorded those other ones with the producer, like I played to a click track, which I had never done before. That took some getting used to. Like when I first tried doing it with the producer, he worked with me. Like I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I couldn't hit the beat for nothing. Like keep it with the track. You gotta understand exactly what that is. Like, but once I did, once I got it, I got it. Like, so.
Now, we've talked about this with other people, with the age of streaming and like basically instant gratification and stuff like that when it comes to movies. Now, music, you said you just put out 3, and you put together 3 songs. Now, are you going to try to put that out as a thing, or are you just going to let the 3 songs like hit the internet and go from there? Or,
well, two of them are on Spotify.
Okay.
Well, and I sent you the video that we did for the one.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I don't know. We're not. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. Like the other guys wanted to do CDs, and I'm like, nobody buys CDs anymore.
There's no money in CDs, because once you
right, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, we could spend the money, but we're not gonna get our money back. That's for sure.
No, and theoretically, you can do, you can print on demand. So if you guys are at a show, if you're doing a show, you can literally go to your computer, pound out the 100 copies in a few hours, and take them to your show, and paper envelope them up and hand them out, because then you have next to nothing in them. It's not like you have to print up the sleeve. You got to put them in a jewel case. You got to print up the CD itself, and so yeah.
Well, and they do make, so you can buy these they're like little cards, and they have, it's like buying an MP3 basically, like when you buy an album and you get if there's a code on it.
Yeah. I've gotten a few of them at shows. Yeah,
and then people can buy them for a couple of bucks. And
now I've seen these, and I don't know if you've seen these. They're business cards, but they're made of like a thin plastic, and it's got, essentially, you flip the little piece out and you can plug it in your computer, and it's got like a little USB jack in it, but your business card. So you can, yeah. Because I used to get them things sent to me all the time for my business, because I ordered some business cards, so the company would send me all the ads after that. And I was like, man, that'd be kind of cool, I guess, if you're, a filmmaker or something like that, or a musician, because you can put a couple songs on it. But here's my card, check it out, when stick it in your computer.
Right.
And all right, now here's where we start getting some of the interesting questions. I get to do an extra couple questions for you, because I always do the I'll do the movie one first. Money's no object. Who are you hiring for your movie?
Oh man. shit. Money is no object.
Money's no object. Like you could legitimately go, I need Tom Cruise in this movie. And it's
I probably wouldn't. Probably like Ben Foster. I love his stuff.
You're gonna hire Archangel from no from X-Men Apocalypse. No, yeah, he's great. And he scored Donna from that '70s show. So good on him.
Right. So Showdown and Yesteryear. So the Beast in Showdown compared to it's a different actor to the Door. So the guy in the Door, like, we didn't use any kind of like angle photography. That dude's like 6'9", and Jeff's like 5'7". So
that worked perfectly.
So, but in Showdown, the guy I chose to do that, play the Beast in that, he reminds me of like a Ben Foster. Like, he's a smaller guy, but he's just fucking crazy. Like, he's just got that look in his eyes. And I thought that was a better.
Oh yeah, because everybody always puts like the big giant guy, and you get just the crazy little guy that you just like, you don't want to make eye contact with. You're like, don't kill me, man. Don't make eye contact. Right.
Well, and so what's cool is so in this movie, in Showdown, I play one of the bad guys. I play the Beast. There's two brothers to the Beast, and I play one of his brothers. So that was the idea too. Like, I'm one of his brothers. I'm a lot bigger than him, but he's like the brains of the operation and just crazy and gives all the orders and everything. So
that's cool. Now I gotta add, how did you get Vern Wells to be in your be in Showdown?
I messaged him. I'm serious.
You gotta love those. You don't have to go through people. You didn't have to call. You just like, hey, so want to do the movie? Sure.
So we were trying to figure out. I sat down with the DP, Aaron, and I actually had gone. He was living in Maryland at the time. I went there. We took a weekend to sit down and just like try to get the schedule and get everything set up for the film. And at that point, we really didn't even have a name yet. And we were trying to think of like some kind of, halfway name to put in this. I said, if I'm going to fund a feature, I want, at least some kind of a draw, some kind of a name. Mm-hmm. So I went through and I was friends with him on Facebook. And so I'm like, I'll just send him a message. So I sent him a message and like told him the situation. I sent him a link to the Door. I said, this is a short film that this is going to be based on. I want you to play the town tycoon. And like, he like answered me almost immediately, like 20 minutes later. So he must have watched it. He mailed me back and he was like, loved it. I'll put you in contact with my agent tomorrow and we'll try to work this out. I was like, shit.
Hell yeah. And you did put this, the Door has won an award, right?
Well, it's won 6.
But. 6? Which ones have you won?
Won Best of the Festival. Trying to remember them all now. Jeff won one for Best Actor. Usually Best Fantasy. It's won a couple of Best Fantasy films.
Nice.
For shorts. So.
Now, did you back that one yourself? Did you raise money? Did you do like a Kickstarter or anything like that with that?
For which one?
Well, both of them actually, I should say. The Door and Showdown.
No, I financed both of them actually.
Whew.
I tried to get some backing for Showdown, but it didn't happen. So.
Yeah,
I feel in some ways I feel that's better because I make all the shots now. Like, nobody can say anything. Nobody. It's my movie. It's my money. So
You can go. I'll take my ball and go home. As I've said before, I you know at the beginning of the pandemic and stuff like that, I just finished a script. I was going to start shooting my first movie myself, and everybody's like, "Oh, you should have done this. You should have done this." I was like, "Yeah, if I screw this up, it's all on me. If I fuck up a movie, it's going to be my fuck." I was like, you know, that way I don't have to answer to nobody, because everybody's like, "Well, you can get, man, I'd throw money at that," and I'm like, "Yeah, but then I'd have to answer to you for the money that you."
I mean, I had a little help with Showdown, but for the most part, I'm financing everything, and everybody's been great to work with. So it's the same team as the door, like the same guy shot it, all that. So
No, there's another question I asked. Do you have like all your like friends and family that are like, "Hey, you're doing a movie. I'm not doing nothing. I could be."
well, so I always have everybody here. I always have friends and people here that are always like, "Hey, I want to be in a Western." And then I'm like, "Well, come to Ohio." They're like, "I'm not driving to Ohio." I'm like, "You don't want to be in a Western."
I don't blame them. I live in Ohio. I wouldn't go to Ohio.
So shoot out of town. That way nobody will.
So nobody will ask you. See, that was the one I ran into, is when I was talking about doing it. All these people are like, "Hey, I could be in your movie," and I'm like, "Dude, you, yeah, okay, I can, I can have them just kill you in the movie." And legitimate, I gotta have a friend that comes back up from Kansas. When they come back up, I might try to film their scene just so I can have it prepared, and then I'll just edit it in later, because I'm like, man, can you just die in the movie? And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay."
We're always looking for bodies, right?
Yeah, definitely. Here's the other question. The other money's no object. Money's no object. What genre movie are you doing?
Probably an action film. I did one a couple of years ago, where I was like a disgruntled cop getting ready to retire. That was a fun role. That was fun.
Now, is there any genres that you've worked in, or that you haven't worked in, that you would like to try?
Well, my cousin Cindy keeps telling me I need to do a romantic comedy, since she doesn't like all the blood and guts.
You can still make a romantic comedy with blood and guts.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Ever seen Dead Alive? That's a romantic comedy, right? Now, who are some of the people that have influenced you on your work, or has anybody really?
I don't know. That's a tough one. Like, there's not one person I'd say that I've really tried to do or be. I usually approach every film a little different. I try not to watch a lot, because I don't want to act exactly like somebody else.
See, that's one of my problems, is I watch way too much television and movies. Literally, I'm up late at night while my wife and kids upstairs asleep. I don't, and I'd be afraid to do that, because I've always told people, I'm like, if I make a movie, I'm like, okay, this is my, Italian horror film. This is my, if I did a Western, I'd be like, I want to make a Django movie, not the Quentin Tarantino Django.
Right.
I'm talking Franco Nero Django movie. And everybody goes, "Who the hell's Franco Nero? Is there a Django?" I'm like, oh, okay. So in 1960s.
Yeah. No, I mean, I watched a lot of movies and TV as well, but I don't know if there's really any like one person or people that I mean, that's like asking me my favorite band. Like there's so many bands I like.
I was like, which genre, which version? I was like, if you want stoner metal, it's this band. If you want prog rock, it's this band. If it's this band, now, like I said, do you ever go into a movie, like when you're putting a movie together and be like, okay, like, with Showdown or whatever, have you ever gone in and go, yeah, I want to make a spaghetti Western, or I want to make a 80s slasher film, or I want to make do you ever go in with like that kind of a feel while you're making a movie?
So The Door actually was an idea me and a friend were working on. It was going to be a horror movie with the same, almost, the same type of premise.
Mm-hmm.
But then I actually acted in another movie that was shot at Dogwood, and I got to be friends with everybody and friends with the owner. And I was like, then I started thinking, I'm like, how about if we take that premise and this guy wants to be, a cowboy and ends up in an old West town, since now I have access to this place. So
now are the extras and whatnot, are those part of the people, like the stage show? You said there's a stage show that goes on there?
Yeah. Most people in The Door, it was me and the Beast, I think, were the only people that don't work there. Everybody else is part of their show during the weekends. Cool. So that was another reason why I wanted to shoot there, because that I didn't have to worry about wardrobe, costuming, set dressing, like, and trying to do. And I know trying to do a period piece is like a lot harder than people think. Like that's,
oh yeah, I was trying to make a movie set in the 80s, and I had a friend of mine who makes movies locally. He goes, no, he goes, you know how much it could cost you to just try to make it look like the 80s? And he's like, I was like, wow, man, I could totally do it, man. I got enough see this shit back here. I was like, I could totally make it look like the 80s. He goes, no, he goes, yeah, for you. He goes, but you're gonna have a girl lead, you're gonna have this, you're gonna have this. And I was like, he goes, that gets expensive.
Everything else.
Like, oh man. I was like, yeah, I can go get my Camaro out of the garage, so I gotta that's not a problem. But he goes, yeah, he goes, when you start getting into wardrobe and like you're doing a Western, so you're gonna have weapons and horses and stuff like that. I was like, that's gotta be stupid expensive, but you're filming in essentially a pre-made set. What it is a set, because it's a stage show. And so pretty much all that goes away at that point, right?
Well, a lot of it. So for The Door, costuming, but for Showdown, I had to rent costuming, because there was more people involved, more people that didn't work there and have their own costumes. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. Like it wasn't that much out of the budget to do that, because it wasn't everybody. It was just probably like 5 to 8 people that I had to essentially rent costumes for. But
now, did you?
Everything else was provided again. The horses, the town. So.
And what you said, since it's a stage show, I mean, I'm sure all the prop weapons and stuff like that would be a cinch, because it's already there. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like I said, that was one of the main reasons I shot there initially, was all that was available. I was like, you ain't gonna find that.
No,
it's tough to come by. So
yeah, that's an amazing get. Especially because I'm shocked that, because I've talked to other people that make movies kind of locally, and I know one guy who's made a Western, and I look back at this, I'm like, man, knowing that that's this close to where all this, I'm like, man, you're telling me these other guys ain't filming Westerns? It's got to be, like I said, before I met you, I was like, it's an hour and a half away from my house, there, about maybe between an hour and a half to 2, and didn't know it existed. Now I'm like, man, I might have to make a pilgrimage over there this summer take a
Right.
look. So
Yeah. Like it, and I know there was some lady out of Columbus that shot a film there, and then the other one I was in that hasn't been finished yet. He's still working on post and a lot of effect stuff. But I'm not sure if, well, I think a few other, like the more that place gets known, the more that comes up, like people contact him to shoot and do other things there.
no,
So
no, you're well, it says you're what? Your IMDb says 6'2".
yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any problem getting costuming for your Wild West gear, I guess?
Not other than the fact that the shirt that she provided me was only a large.
I
I put it on and right up my arm it went.
I'm not even a tall guy. I got long arms, man. That sucks when you gotta go for it's like, what? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Now with making a Western, you've got, like I said, all the prop weapons and stuff. And do you ever have somebody just, get really kind of nervous around? Well, you got your set people, so they'll be really cool. I mean, completely know the weapons and stuff like that. Now, any of your cast that you've brought in have any issues with trying to film with the prop guns or anything?
No, there wasn't really any issue. I mean, we made sure, we went through everything, made sure everybody was aware. I mean, we used blanks for some of the scenes because they used those at the for the shows. We went through got everybody together and went through the whole safety thing about those and stuff. You still don't point them right at somebody.
Yeah. It's all filmed at angles, man. None of the guns.
Make sure you're more than 3 or 4 feet away. You can still get hurt. It's still it's charged there. There's just nothing that's supposed to really come out other than the wadding. But
yeah. So
I'm
getting up there, and I remember what was it? Can't remember his name. You remember the TV show The Voyagers? Where the guys are traveling through time. That's what killed the main guy. Oh
really?
Yeah, he took a blank gun and put it up to his head. He goes, "It's full of blanks," and it pushed the skull into because it still got all the power of a bullet of a cartridge. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what killed him. But no, it's with. I always, because you always see these big movies and stuff like that, and they have issues. You never hear of the smaller, low budget movies having the issues with prop weapons. You never hear them about having stuff like that. I mean, literally, you had the Crow. You just had the movie that Alec Baldwin was in. You hear that, but that's big budget. You never hear about any accidents happening on small budget movies, because I'm not gonna dog any of these big budget films, whatever, because I don't know the whole thing. But I think when you do smaller budgets, you are a hell of a lot more cautious, because one, you're working with this much money. You're working with, people that personally for the most part on a lot of these. And, you're also with people that you trust and know. And I think that's why you never hear about people, getting, thrown by a horse. You never hear about people, almost losing a hand in a sword fight. But literally, I love Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton movie. I mean, freaking Casper Van Dien almost lost a thumb in a sword fight. You don't hear about that happening on low budget movies, because these guys are like, be safe. They're, it's not. So I have that love for low budget movies because, well, one, I love lower budget movies because I think that they have more heart and more passion behind them. But I think that you get a closer knit group of people, and it's all about worrying about each other. which
Right.
when you get guys who, "Oh, I'm never met this guy before in my life," accidents happen, unfortunately. So,
Right. Yeah. And I think so doing a low budget movie, you're more apt to go, I ain't doing that shit.
I ain't making enough money. Screw that.
Yeah. You want me to do what? I ain't doing that shit. I ain't jumping off that building. Hell no.
Now, is anybody thrown through a plate glass window in the Western? Because that is a trope for every Western I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
No, we didn't do that.
Huh? And somebody's got to get dragged behind a horse. Those are the two big ones in like every Western.
Well, this is more like Back to the Future.
Well, even Back to the Future, he gets dragged behind a horse. You should have rented a DeLorean for like one day.
And just have it drive by.
Or just have it parked in a shed so they drive, you like ride by, and if you look, there's a DeLorean.
True, that would have been kind of a
little Easter egg in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to other people about this with doing movies. Do you ever put Easter eggs from your previous movies in any of your other movies? Like sneak something in, just kind of hide something, see if anybody ever notices?
No, I don't think we've ever done that.
All
I mean,
right.
we've done stuff like use a poster from another movie, just it'll be in a couple of shots or something. It'll be on the wall in some shot, but nothing like a certain scene or something.
All right. Now to go back to that, to the money's no object, I guess, but it's not really. You can tour with any band, because who are you touring with?
Oh my God. I'm gonna tour with them. I think we should tour with Judas Priest, because I don't know how much longer they're going to be around.
I'm hoping that this is the year, because there's rumors of the Iron Maiden Judas Priest tour. So
yeah, they've been saying that for 40 years.
Yeah, but they're all getting towards the end, so they got to do it soon.
Right.
It's like I was supposed to take my son to go see Ozzy's farewell tour too. I was like, "Here's the thing, Joe," and he's like, "What?" I was like, "I saw Ozzy on his farewell tour of one." I saw him on a No More Tours tour in '92. So, but I have my son Joe is like my I wouldn't say mini me, because he's my height and he's an adult, but me and him are really close, and I got to take him to Slayer's farewell tour. We were supposed to go the following year to go see Ozzy, Megadeth, and I can't remember who else was supposed to be, and then that got postponed. Now it still looks like it's going to happen, but. And he goes, "Why do you want?" I was like, "I want to be there for both farewell tours. I think that would be." I was like, it wouldn't be like the Rolling Stones to go to like 8 of them, or the Who and go to like different, because every time you turn around, the Who was like, "Oh, this is the farewell tour," and then I just seen them touring again. I'm like, okay, that's not.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you gonna go see Def Leppard,
Motley Crue and Poison? I don't know. It's in Cincinnati and there's still tickets, but it's a stadium show. So if I get tickets, it's gonna be like, the stage is gonna be like this big from the distance. And there's a bunch of other bands.
Well, it's like getting tickets to Evel Knievel. You got to go watch Vince Neil make an ass of himself.
Well, last year, there's a place not far from here, and Bret Michaels was there. So me and my wife went. She's like, "Do you want to go with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I'll go see Bret Michaels." I've never seen Poison. So we went and seen Bret Michaels, and I'm not gonna lie, he put on a pretty good show for his solo stuff. I got to take my son to go see King Crimson. Oh man, what else did I go see last year? Sebastian Bach. I got to see him on the 30th anniversary for Slave to the Grind. And I'm laughing at my wife, and she goes, "What?" I was like, "I saw Slave to the Grind the first time. Like, that's the last time I saw Skid Row." I was like, "I saw him open, or Pantera open for Skid Row, and then I've seen Pantera like 9 times, and Skid Row." All right, if you could go back and go see any band play, who are you going to try to go see?
Go back.
If you like at any, like me, if I could go back and see any band that I've never seen, as I would like to go see like Metallica in like 1986.
Yeah, I could deal with that. I don't like them anymore. I don't like them anymore at all, but I'd go see them back then. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we have the ongoing joke is like, because a guy my wife used to work with didn't discover Metallica until like 20 years ago. And I was like, man, how do you get in Metallica in that era? I was like, this is weird, man. I was like, I've been listening to Metallica since junior high, and it's like the Black Album came out, and I was like, so this is how it dies, huh? And then a friend of mine bought me Saint Anger one year, I think for like my birthday or Christmas, and I was like, this might be the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire.
I know, I can't stand the sound of his drums on that. It's fucking horrible.
Oh, it sounds like he's beating on a garbage can.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we have the ongoing joke that unfortunately somewhere out there, somebody's favorite Metallica album is Saint Anger. Like, really? No, yeah, it's funny because I mean, I listened to Load and Reload, and I didn't think those were bad, but I thought they were 2 just mediocre albums. And I thought if they would have taken the good stuff off of one, the good stuff off of Load, and the good stuff off of Reload, and they put them together, they had one great album. Instead, they had 2 mediocre albums.
Right.
And and I'll argue with my wife till the day I die. I think the same thing with Guns N' Roses and Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. I said that could have been 1 phenomenal album or 2 mediocre albums. And she's like, I like both those albums. I'm like, I'm saying you can't like them. I'm just saying they're not that good as a whole. But if you would have taken them and streamed them down, you would have a great one. So, and I got to ask you this. Where do you stand on this one? We have the ongoing thing is that the only thing that everybody can agree on the planet is that Appetite for Destruction is the best Guns N' Roses album ever.
Well, I'm not a huge Guns N' Roses fan, so
yeah. See, but that's just you don't even have to be a big fan, but if because it used to be Def Leppard, we had an ongoing joke that we can all agree that Pyromania was the best Def Leppard album, and then somebody goes, no, I like Hysteria. I'm like, damn it, you ruined the whole entire game.
Actually, I think Run Through the Night's better.
Huh? Oh yeah.
Run Through the Night.
Those first 2 albums are stupid good. And then when you realize that they're like 16, 17, and 18,
yeah, I know.
Put them together, you're just like, how? Really? it's
Well, I've seen them open. They opened for Blizzard of Oz back in 81 or whatever, 80 or 81. Yeah, I didn't realize, I don't think until after the show, after I saw that how young they were. Like, forget which guitar player was. He always played the big Destroyer body. That thing was bigger than he was. Like,
that's the one that passed.
Yeah, I was
away,
going to say,
right?
I think that's the one that died. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
back then that thing was like.
Let's like. I watched a documentary. Have you watched that documentary on drummers on Netflix?
No, I haven't yet. Actually, I keep forgetting about that.
I got bored one night, and I'm just sitting here like bagging board my comics and stuff and putting stuff away. And I put it on, and I'm like sitting there listening to it, and they're talking about John Bonham. And it's like realizing how young Led Zeppelin was when because he only really veteran of the group was Jimmy Page, and all the rest of them were these relatively young guys. And you're like, man, these guys are like early 20s, and they're putting out freaking rock and roll, and you're like, how the hell did you get that? And yeah, it's a really good documentary. It has all these drummers talking about, you know, what influenced them and stuff like that. And it has a genre, all different, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Now, going on that, is there any genre of music that you like to play that you haven't played, or that you just like to like stick your toe in or try out?
Well, I mean, I've played just about everything like that I want to. It was funny when I first started playing, when I would go up north where I grew up, I would sit in with my uncle's country band, but I would sit in and play like Johnny Be Good or something like that. That's, you know, a little more
rocking. I have a friend of mine. He's in a Iron Maiden cover band, but there for a while he was touring in a country band. He goes, that pays the bills. He goes, but I'll still go.
Right.
Yeah. And I end up doing comic book shows. I end up running into a guy who was, I think he was a guitar player for a pretty big country band. And I know it's probably isn't right, but I want to say it was Brooks and Dunn or something like that. And he was just like their touring guitar player, because they had a session guitar player come in.
Right.
He goes, my regular band, my real band, he goes, it's metal. He goes, but he goes, you know, they're like, hey, we need somebody to play guitar on this tour. And he's like, oh, how much does it pay? And they're like, oh, okay. I can play Brooks and Dunn for that kind of money. Oh yeah. He goes, I'm not gonna lie, he goes, it's fun being on stage. I played guitar and I got paid really good to do what I like to do. He goes, maybe not what I want to play. He goes, but I still had fun. So, and I got to see the world. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But I guess, you know, if you want to play and you want to have fun, you got to go where the money is for some time.
Well, it's kind of funny how I ended up in the punk band, because I never even listened to punk before I started playing in the band. This friend of mine who knew the people in the band, come up to me and he's like, hey, I know this punk band, they're looking for a drummer. And he's like, I know punk's not your thing, you're more of a metalhead, but he's like, you know, hey, check it out. So I met with him and showed up for practice, and first thing that caught my eye was the guitar player singer. He's like, I don't care what you do, just, you know, just be in time with everything, because it's all original. I never heard anything before. I just showed up and jumped in, and I was like, wow, this is kind of fun. Like, I don't have to think about all those odd timing changes and shit. I can just play and have fun with it. So
yeah, it's there's a lot of them bands, especially some of the punk bands that if you look at them, you get you know, the one, like the bass player is a you know, the punk guy, you get the drummer who's the metal guy, you get the you know, the guitar player that's the prog rock guy, but they decided, they're like, hey, well, this is good, this is easy, I can play it.
well, and our stuff isn't really like just straight 4/4 like a lot of the punk stuff.
The one,
that's why it kind of works, because I add a little more, you know, a little more depth to it, some different timings and stuff, not just straight 4/4 times blast beat through songs. So
yeah, it's I mean, the song you sent me, I thought it came off as a what is it? It's not, it's like punkabilly. It's that mix between rockabilly and punk. I was like, I like it. It's got a good sound to it. You know, I could definitely, you know, put that on while I'm working on a car in the garage or something like that. So, you know, hey, it's if you're having fun playing and you're enjoying it, hell yeah.
Right. Yeah, we always joke, because Um, we say like a Push Rod's album lengthwise is like one prog rock song.
You get that 20-minute album or a 20-minute song. I got King Crimson over there on vinyl, and the Court of the Crimson King, if you listen to it, it's technically 5 songs long. That's it.
Right.
And they're like, no, it isn't. I'm like, yeah, well, each song is divided into sub songs, but it's one big song. Or like we were talking on line the other day about Dream Theater, and I have I cannot remember what Dream Theater album I have now, but it's on a cassette, and it's one side is 3 songs long, the other side of the cassette's only 2 songs long, and it takes up the entire cassette, so it's still like 70 minutes long for
right.
I was like, man, I used to love the shit out of some Dream Theater, and now that they're I guess touring again. That's or supposed to be
they're touring right now.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then I'm sitting there looking at, so I've got back into vinyl relatively recently, and I'm starting looking because, like you said, nobody buys CDs anymore. So I'm like, shit, there's Dream Theater, and I went to order it, and they're like, out of stock. Crap. So
yeah. Yeah, vinyl's becoming a big thing, like the big collectible thing now.
Yeah,
bands are putting out collectible vinyl and things.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I didn't want to start getting back into it, but then I started buying up all these albums that I had when I was a kid, and then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then all these new albums were coming out online. I'm like, okay, it's either $20 for vinyl or it's like $18 for a CD. I'll spend the $2 and get, because I mean, a lot of them you get a digital code, so you get the digital version of it too. So now,
do they give the digital codes with the albums too?
Some of them do. I just got an album. Was it this one? Yeah, this one. Amazon just sent me the code, so it's automatically on my Amazon library. And you don't even have to turn any codes in or nothing. It's just there. So I got and when I'm editing together my the shows and stuff like that and doing my other shows, I tend to, like, when I'm driving, when I'm working out, when I'm like working in the garage or whatever, I tend to listen to metal. When I'm like chilling out editing, I tend to listen to like the synthwave or like music scores, like the I got like the Star Wars Rogue One soundtrack, stuff like that. Because, like my friend said, he goes, that stuff's made to be in the background and not distract from what you're doing. I'm like, man, it's perfect, because I can sit there and listen to my music. And I got some albums a while back, and all of a sudden they're like, I get a little thing that says, music's in your library. And I'm like, what? So I looked at my wife. I'm like, do we have a music library for Amazon? She goes, yeah, here. And she clicks on it. And I'm like, oh, and I look, there's just a list of all this music that I bought that I didn't know I owned digitally. And then there's crap, where's it at? There's one that they just actually just give you the code. They get some of them, they put the code in the vinyl, so you'll just like open it up and there's a slip with a code.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one I got for Christmas, it's the John Carpenter's Splash Band, it's German, and it's weird renditions of John Carpenter's, but it's where the hell's it at? Yeah, comes with the CD too. So they're just like, okay, well, you're buying the vinyl, which I didn't buy this one. A friend of mine, like I said, got that as a Christmas gift. But yeah, they I don't know. Some of them are cool because some of them are different. I got like the Splash vinyl clear and just multiple colors and stuff, and I got clear ones like flat, just clear white. So, dogs be weird back here. So, before I forget to ask, you said you have 4 movies on Tubi, which is
Oh, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have like 6.
6. You have other than that, you know where you can get some of your other movies, like on Amazon or
Yeah, I believe some of them are on Amazon. That's funny story about Killer Rack. That's one reason why I think it ended up on Tubi, because they kept taking it off of Amazon. They kept taking it off of Amazon because of the supposedly the content. And it's like, have you watched it on Amazon? Like, so that movie, I mean, other than it kind of sounds like, you know, it's nothing but TNA. There's like literally 2 real boob shots in it, and they're quick, like 3 seconds. So
well, I know that Amazon 2 years ago now, or a year, shit. Yeah, about 2 years ago now, they had that big purge where they took almost all of the independent movies off.
right, yeah.
And I know that hurt a lot of people that I know around here that they're filmmakers, because they had, one guy had like, I think like 5 movies up on Amazon. The other guys had a couple, and he goes, all of a sudden they're just like, nope, they're gone. You're down. And then they got to try to re-put them up, which I know some of them were able to put some of their stuff back up, but like out of like 8 movies, they were able to put back up 3 or stuff like that. So, but no,
Yeah, because I was going to do that with The Door. Try to time it once we get ready to release Showdown and Yesteryear. I was going to try to kind of use that as, a stepping stone. Like somebody watched that, they might, and I would, go on social media and explain that that's what Showdown and Yesteryear is based from and all that. But I don't even think, I think now you can't even put shorts on there, independent shorts on Amazon. So like I said, they cleared out a lot of independent movies, period. So
yeah. No, I've talked to people with streaming. Do you look at it as being able to get your product out there to more people, or do you look at it like, is it working for you or against you right now?
I don't know. Seems like the only people I know, they'll watch it if it's on Tubi, but they're not going to pay $2 to rent it on the streaming service, which I think's, I don't know, it's crazy. Like, I'll tell my friends I have a movie available, and then they're like, "Is it free?" And I'm like, "Well, no, it's like $1.99." Well, I ain't spending $1. And I'm like, "Are you serious? Like, you won't spend $2 to watch a movie that I was in?" So,
another filmmaker, he goes, I want to tell people to go rent my movie on Amazon. He goes, but he goes, I've made more money off of my other movie on Tubi when they bought
really?
than I've made off of people renting the other movie on Amazon. He goes, so keep watching my movie on Tubi. I
Oh, I didn't realize. So you do get.
I don't know if it was Tubi or something, but they made more money when their movie went to the free streaming. Like I said, I wasn't sure if it was Tubi, maybe Plex or one of those other ones like that. They made more money when they're for their movie doing it that way than they got for their movie being rented on Amazon. So, because I guess Tubi, Plex, all those they're just always looking for content. So, and they're looking for content that's affordable and that will have people watch it. So they're looking for, horror movies. They're looking for genre movies that, people watch, because like you're doing a Western. So, you always have the older people who, a lot of the, maybe the generation, before us, I'm not sure exactly how old you are, but, that was the age they grew up watching the Westerns on TV. They, stuff like that. So they tend to watch more Westerns. So they're always trying to get that content so that they can bring in the 45 to 60 market. We already got the 19 and the 40, So, stuff like that, because
Right.
we got horror movies, we got this. So they're just looking for content to make people watch it, because then they make their money on advertisers. They do all that stuff like that. So not exactly sure how it all works, because if I did, I
So
guess.
do you know if you can submit your film to them? Because anybody I know that their stuff's on Tubi, they're through a distributor, like their movies.
Yeah, I would probably say there would have to be a way you could get a hold of them. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I know that the ones that I know have got a distributor. That's how they got theirs on
Right.
Tubi or Plex. But I know that there's all these other smaller streaming networks out there that are free, and there's no way that some of these movies that I've seen, outside of they can't have a very big distributor, so they got to be just getting a hold of the people personally or whatever. But yeah, I'd assume that if you found a way to contact Tubi or Plex, that there's got to be a way you could get your movie there. I mean, it would make sense to me. So, but
Right.
yeah, like I said, if I knew, I'd be a millionaire. But I have my own streaming service. Shit. Shit, I do all my stuff and put it on YouTube and on Podbean. So literally, I'm paying to keep my just my podcast version, my audio podcast, for I don't know, 20 people that I know that are truck drivers and stuff like that, do a lot of over the road stuff because they listen to me while they're traveling. So I was like, all right, I'll keep it going, because I told them, I was like, I'm just going to go strictly to YouTube. And they're like, no, I listen to you in my car, and I can't use YouTube because that burns up too much of my data while I'm driving. And all right, I'll keep it going. So I keep it going for my fans that fans are probably just friends. I don't that are truck drivers, or they're on the road a lot, travel, whatever. So I keep it going. But I have because my other two shows that I do I always joked around I want to be a horror host, and I was like, but there's way too many of those out there that are far better than I would ever be. So I started. I had a friend of mine. He goes, man, just do what you'd like to do. So I continue doing this, and then I do a Saturday morning cartoon show, which I host Saturday morning cartoons. And then I started finding all these old, well, not old, but these 80s, late 70s, early 80s sci-fi shows that maybe didn't even go a full season, that nobody cares about. So I started putting together a Friday show where I host Friday sci-fi stuff. And it's weird that's really, the Saturday morning stuff's taken off. And now I got people like, man, you should put together a streaming channel. I was like, I would love to, but I'm not going to pay to get the rights to these cartoons and these TV shows just to air them on a Roku channel. I was like, because I cannot afford that. I was like, I do this for fun. I was like, I'm one of them guys that's my wife hates it. I'm a physical media guy. I like to make sure that stuff is still around for my kids and their kids and whatever. And there's music that I listened to in high school, these bands that put out one album. I can't find it. I can't find any of their music online. And it's like, if I still had that cassette, I would have proof this band existed. There's a band called Dead On. Their big claim to fame, I guess, was they did a song on the Shocker soundtrack, but they put out one album and they just disappeared. And I remember they had a music video. I had their cassette tape, and I don't know if it got lost or stolen out of my car or something like that. But I can't prove, I can pull up my Shocker soundtrack and let you listen to the one song that they put. But I'm also, like I said, I'm like the guy. I buy physical DVDs. I buy,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, me too.
Because 20 years down the road, if it doesn't get picked up on Blu-ray, or if it doesn't get picked up on which whatever comes after Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, is it lost? You know, because I've got stuff that's only available. The last time it was released was on VHS or Laserdisc. So
I've gotten, speaking of laser discs, so I, instead of buying movie posters, I buy laser discs and then buy the record album frames, put them in there and then hang them on the wall.
Nice. Because man, some of them are sweet. I got my one of my favorite movies is The Keep. And a buddy of mine got me The Keep on Laserdisc for Christmas one year, or it was Christmas, like my birthday or something. And I need to get that framed up, but literally I watch it. So
Oh, you still have a Laserdisc player?
yeah, I got a Laserdisc player. Yes, I have a Laserdisc player. I have VCR, Laserdisc, Blu-ray player, multi-region Blu-ray player, 8mm film. I have the RCA Spectravision. Remember those with the cartridge? I have one of those, but I got to get it working. And I'm always on the lookout for another beta. And I've even got an HD DVD player. So
I still have my HD player.
Yeah, I don't want any of this stuff to disappear. My wife hates it. She's, what are you doing with all that shit? And I was like, you don't understand. She goes, it's all streaming. I'm like, until they take it away from you. And then
Right. Well, that's always the big argument with like Vudu, you know, you don't really own it because if Vudu goes down, you have nothing.
Did you ever, was it last year or year before last that some guy lost all of his, I think, music on iTunes? He had thousands of songs, and they went in and they're like, he's like, oh, you know, I own all that. And he goes, no, you don't. That's our, you know, and they're like, but I paid for them. He goes, well, you're paying for the service to have them available. I'm like, yeah, there's giant loopholes that they're jumping through to get to make it basically so that you don't really own anything.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like I said, because they were talking about Vudu or something, or did one of those shut down, one of the video streaming services or something, because everybody's like they combined or something.
It was not Vudu, because I just used Vudu the other day.
Right, but they were saying at one point that like something about them combining, and if you own this, you were going to lose it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I started seeing all these posts. Everybody's like, you don't own that stuff. Like if this happens, it's gone. Like your movies are gone.
Yeah. And it's even, you know, because everybody's like, well, everything's streaming. I'm like, not everything's streaming either. Right. You know, it's that's scary too, because you know, you got your movies out there. Do you have DVDs or Blu-rays of your movies available?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See,
oh no, I don't know about available on all of them anymore. I mean, a lot of them initially you do, and then
you sell out of them, and or
for whatever reason they sell out or they stop distributing them or whatever. But I mean, I have my copies.
Now, before I forget, do you ever do conventions and stuff like that? Take your movies out there on the convention circuit? And
no, I've never done that. I mean, I'd like to do a couple of conventions. I think they're cool. So about 7 years ago, I was doing a streaming music, like a radio show every Friday night. Mm-hmm. What we started doing is I would get a hold of conventions and offer them a month of advertising on my show if they gave me a table. so for a couple of years, like I did that for quite a while. That was fun. Had to meet a lot of actors and hang out with them and stuff. And,
oh yeah, it's it used to be a lot cooler. It's gotten a lot harder now because they try to keep all the talent away from the regular people, so they always try to hoard the big name actors over here, and then everybody else is over here. Now I'll tell you this much right here: if you ever get back here to Ohio, I do a comic book show here in town. I will give you a free table. You can come here.
I'll give you a free table.
I'll give you a free
I don't
table.
know if I can get any. I don't know if I can get any merch, but
Yeah. But we it's always cool, you know, like I've said this before and I'll say this again. Independent filmmakers and stuff, guys who and guys, girls, people, everybody who's going out there and putting their heart and soul to a movie that's uh, I have nothing but respect for you. I have nothing but respect for everything. Especially, I mean, holy crap, I look at your list. I'm like, you're doing everything. You're like you said, you're getting into production and producing and writing, directing, and music and everything. And that's just, I don't even know how the hell you even find the time to do my interview here. I've talked to other people and they're like, hey, clones. I've cloned myself. I'm filming a movie now. I run with the comic book guys and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, how are you working on like 6 books at one time? Like you're not drawing, but you're still inking and you're still writing.
right.
And he's like, I have no life. Like, and like I said, I have just a huge amount of respect for you that with what you're doing. The Door is amazing. I can't wait to see Showdown. That is, if it's, I mean, if
I'm really pouring,
you know, a tenth of what, you know, because it's what 15 minutes long, and if I'm guessing hour 30, hour 40 for Showdown,
it's 2.
It's 2.
Yeah, we've watched and watched it. We're like, there's nothing we can cut. Like it's, you know, everything adds an element to the story. It's a huge story at this point, like with a feature. Like there's,
well,
I mean, I can't say too much about it because I don't want to give any of it away.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's another thing about making your own movie, like we talked about earlier. I mean, the only person you have to answer to is you.
Right.
So if you don't want your movie to be under 2 hours, like you're like, this all needs to stay. It all needs to stay. It will all stay. It's not like, you know, back in the day where they tell you, okay, I made a movie. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. And the studio's like, we needed an hour 30.
Right.
I can't get an hour 30 out of it. You're going to get an hour 30 out of it, or it's not going to.
And I don't really plan on doing a big film festival thing with this either, like I did The Door. To me, I don't know. I think the film festival circuit's gotten way too diluted. There's too many. Everybody's putting one together, and you're just, I don't know. I've gotten at this point, like I said, The Door is still, there's still some other film festivals for that coming up. I started submitting it more last year. For this year when I figured out that Showdown wasn't going to be done yet. So just to kind of keep that out there.
Now, I have some people I know that own a theater somewhat locally here. I might be able to get in contact with them, get them in contact with you. So maybe when Showdown is done, I mean, it is a hell of a trip, but I mean, maybe we can get it in a theater or something like that for you, if I can maybe work with some people here. So
okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, in April, I think it's April 23rd, that weekend. I'm going to be at Dogwood. We're going to be filming some other stuff like interviews and shooting a music video. And if you want to stop down.
Heck yeah. It was, you said April 23rd. Write that down over here on the calendar.
I believe that's the weekend.
Okay. Yeah. Get a hold of me when you know for sure. And what times you'll be there, and I'll see if I can get over there. Because I own my own comic book store, so I just, if it's on like a weekday or a Saturday, I'll have to get somebody to run the shop while I'm gone. But I can get over there and I'll drag.
Yeah, we're going to be there for like 3 days.
Sweet. Yeah. Because it's, like I said, it's hour 40, maybe hour 45 away from me. So
Right. Have you looked up well, Dogwood's outside of Columbus, but
Is it to the east or the west?
yeah,
Don't know.
good question.
North or south? Okay.
I don't remember.
Hold on a second. That's what we got Google Maps for here.
Yeah. Just look up Beaver, Ohio.
Beaver, Ohio.
It makes me chuckle every time I say that.
Beaver, Ohio. There we are. And directions. Oh yeah, you're down by Jackson. Okay, you're 2.5 hours away from me. So yeah, you're south of Columbus. So yeah, that's still not bad. I still make that trip.
Yeah, I know it's like an hour. Jeff lives in Columbus. It's about an hour from his house.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I go that's not horrible there. Shoot. I just shoot on down the road and head out, and maybe I'll make a weekend of it.
Yeah, well, it should be placed. So that's the cool thing about shooting there too, is they have this big bunkhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So shot the door when we shot both of them. Like I literally lived at Dogwood Pass. Like, so it's like living in the old West. Like you never leave. I'm always on set.
As long as you have a real toilet, I'm fine.
Oh yeah, they had toilet, shower, fridge, and all that stuff. But
how long did the shooting last on Showdown?
Oh shit, that was almost 3 weeks. And we didn't. If I ever do another feature again, we didn't have any days off. We literally shot every day. So everybody was getting burnt out by the end.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Definitely needed a couple of days off.
Take a break, come back, get the weekend off, and come back. I've had you on here for a while. I don't mean to eat up all your time here.
No problem.
Like I said, I do appreciate it. Do you have, like I said, anything you need to other movies that you want to tell us about? Stuff that you like, hey, like you said, that there's movies on Tubi.
So there's Johnny Gruesome is on Tubi. It's another Greg. I don't know if you're familiar with Greg Lamberson, horror filmmaker at all.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
His big cult classic, Slime City.
Yeah.
So I've done 4 or 5 films with Greg now. Johnny Gruesome, Tubi, that's Greg's movie. Killer Rack, Greg directed. Debbie Rashawn's in Killer Rack as well. Let's see what else was there. Evil Under the Skin that I'm in with Donna. That's where I play the creepy brother.
Okay.
Donna and I are brother and sister, and we have a big kissing scene. So you got to watch that one, because everybody's like, some of my friends watch it and I get text messages. They're like, aren't you brother and sister in that film? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, but you like made out. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh my God. I was just, I was watching someone on some like making of on YouTube a while back for a movie, and literally they changed the script like midway through the movie, and suddenly like the people were, it was, I say they like Star Wars did, that the two like mains were not brother and sister. So there's like a makeout scene in the beginning, and by the end of the movie they were acknowledged to be brother and sister because the script changed so much from point A to point B. I was like, okay. And they're like, I was like thinking to myself, they didn't decide to cut that out. They're like, oh well, okay. So
yeah, it was funny. Well, because that wasn't in the script originally, and then Jeff sent us the update, and Donna gets a hold of me and she's like, have you read the update to the script yet? And I'm like, no. So I go read it, and then I come back and I'm like, she's like, yeah, we kiss. We're brother and sister. But and then we both talked to Jeff, and Jeff was like, well, Jeff knew Donna and I had worked together before, and saw some of our stuff, and he's like, you guys have decent chemistry or whatever, and work well together. He's like, you already know each other, so he's like, that's why I put that in there. Like he's like, if you're okay with it, and I'm like, I'm fine with it. It just it was kind of weird, but hey.
Good. I'm good. We're good.
I'm supposed to be creepy. I guess that just makes me creepier.
Oh yeah. And you said that you don't have any. You got the door coming out in some film festivals. Do you know which ones coming up?
Well, it hasn't even been announced. Like I'm just saying more that I submitted it to that haven't even announced whether it's in them or not. But
I know you sent me the link. Is there any place where people can see the door?
Not yet, because it's still festivals. I can't really.
Okay.
Once that's over and we get Showdown pretty much locked in, and hopefully get some kind of distribution or something, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna like basically release the door to watch either on YouTube or whatever.
Are you going to release it as like a special feature on the DVD for the?
Yeah, we could do that. We're planning on doing a commentary track for it too.
Cool.
Because that'll be fun talking about making that movie.
I'm a commentary guy. I just love listening to people talk about making their movies, and some of them are just hilarious. I think that any of them that Arnold Schwarzenegger does is hilarious.
That was the biggest reason I bought a Laserdisc player back in the day, because that was the first.
Yeah. The first time I think it was commentary and like the deleted scenes or behind the scenes and stuff like that was that. And then I also remember the extended cut of Terminator 2 and RoboCop were the like the two that made me. And the worst part about it is I don't own either one of them anymore. I think I had to sell them out broke one time. Now I'm slowly trying to get back my collection. I only have like 10 laser discs in a player. So
yeah, I sold them all. I kept a few of them that I figured would, like I kept The Crow, a couple of the Star Wars movies, stuff like that. I still have the laser discs.
I've got Star Wars, Aliens, Blade Runner, Keep, then like stuff like Blue Thunder and then the couple laser discs that came free with the laser disc player I bought. So, so I got like oh man, the Robin Williams Robert De Niro movie where he's in a coma. Why can't I think of the title for that? It's probably something stupid right off the top of my head. And that's one of them that I got for free. I've never watched it. It's just sitting on a shelf because I'm like, I can get rid of it. But I'm weird that way. So, is there any way anybody can buy copies of your movies? Do you have anything available, like in your own personal collection, or autographed copies, or anything like that you have floating around?
No, not really. Unless I said, I'm not even sure what's available anymore to buy. I'm pretty sure so there is another anthology I was in. It's called Theater of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
Really good production value on it all. So I always say I pretty much filled my bucket list. I was a vampire, I was a Bigfoot character, and in one of the movies in Theater of Terror, I'm a werewolf. So I got to do it all.
I joke around that I've gotten too old now to play in most of the movies my friends put together. I was like, so I want to be the old guy or the weird guy at the beginning of the movie that tells all the kids they're going to go die.
Yeah.
So I was like, you find me a gas station, which I found a gas station. So if I could just get them there, record it. And I was like, you could put that at the beginning of all your movies. He is the weird guy coming out of the old dilapidated gas station going, where you going? You kids are all going to die out there. just that's way it's that way you know that that's the same universe. All of these people exist in the same universe because of the gas station guy. That's my one goal. That's the last thing I need to do. I've been in a movie. I'm happy. That's one thing I wanted to do. Now, if I can do one where I'm just the weird guy at the beginning of the movie, I'd be great with that. So, all right. Now it's the other one is, did you do any autograph? Do you do like people can contact you to get like DVD signed or anything like that?
Sure, if they want to send it,
Okay.
pay for the shipping and stuff, no problem.
Cool. All right, sir. Well, I appreciate it. I do. And really, seriously, Kat, go play. That'll be fun to get edited out.
It was funny though. He come right up. He's like,
she is 90% of the time she hides away from everybody, and now she wants to be super friendly, wants to sit on my lap and everything else. Hey, that right, Lucy? Yeah. Okay. Where's your sister? Yeah. Wife's cat, wife's dog, my cat, nowhere to be seen. So, like I said, I do appreciate everything you do. Being a low budget filmmaker I mean, there's got to be a lot. And like you said, you're doing directing, writing, producing, music on top of everything. And I said this once, I'll say it again, don't know how you have the time.
I don't either sometimes.
I was like, that's why I tell people, that's why I don't go to bed till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, because I got to get stuff done. So
right.
I do appreciate you like I said, the door is for a short, that is an amazing piece. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna go watch some other stuff. Like I said, Hellcat's Revenge was fun. I'm gonna try to get time to watch Five Gauntlets, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna start going through, because now I gotta find Killer Rack. But like I said, I appreciate it. I do.
No problem.
I don't think you guys get enough credit, because this is not, as I've said to other people, this has got to be like your passion. I mean, I know everybody's in it for the money, but it's
like the band. If I was in it for the money, I wouldn't be here right now.
Exactly. So thank you. Now what I'll do with this is I'll take some I'll put some of your trailers for some of your movies in, and at the beginning, at the end and stuff, and I'll put some of your do you want me to links to your IMDb and stuff like that at the end, and all that fun stuff. So I do appreciate it. And anytime you want to come on, tell us about new stuff we got coming out, or maybe if I can get over to Beaver, Ohio. That's not gonna never be funny. If I can get over there on the 23rd of April, and if you let me, maybe I can film a couple things, and we can
definitely
put together another episode. And like I said, if you ever want to get on here again, be like, hey, I got a new movie, one of my other movies is coming out, just 5 minutes, hop on, tell us, and I can edit something in at the end of another show, and I can do all that stuff. So
okay, cool. Yeah, no problem. Cool. Sounds great. And if you need anything, if you're looking for another trailer or something you want to use or whatever, just let me know.
Yeah, if you want to send me those. If not, I mean, if they're on YouTube, I can go find them and pull them off of YouTube. If not, like you sent me the other ones, I can do that. But yeah, if you want to send me some links, that would be great.
I can send you a couple of I can send you a couple other shorts too.
Sweet. Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate it, sir. And you have yourself a good night. And thank you again for being on here. And I will talk to you again soon, hopefully.
Yeah, just get a hold of me. You know?
All right, cool.
And I think Theater of Terror you can buy. I can find the link for it. I think it might be just theaterofterror.com or something, but I'm pretty sure you can still buy the Blu-rays and stuff from him. If not, I can try to get you one.
Sweet. Yeah, that'll work. I'd like to get a couple copies of some of your movies. Get at least a copy or so of some of your movies. That would be awesome. I can throw them in there with the other movies, which you cannot see from here. I got like 6,000 DVDs right now, about 2,000 Blu-rays, probably a couple thousand VHS tapes. And
seeing people think I'm nuts.
You don't even know. I have a huge comic book collection. I have a huge movie collection. I have a toy collection. And I told my wife, I was like, she's like, well, what are we going to do? You know, she goes, when you die, I'm selling all of this, right? Because I'm paying the house off. I'm going to buy the car off. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going to have to fight with my son, Joe. Because my 22-year-old, he's like, I'm not going to get rid of anything. He goes, I'd probably just make it like, you want to see the 1980s, come to my house. You can see. And I was like, I know, Joe. Holy crap, kid. But he's, and then, you know, like I said, music. I got a ton of music, CDs, vinyl, cassettes. I even got a reel-to-reel that I got recently. So, because I don't have enough, evidently. I'm legit trying to buy a warehouse.
Yeah, I don't have the room for a lot of that shit. That's my problem. I don't have the room I have for the stuff I do have.
My wife had to finally start looking at me and going, no, you're not buying that. You're not buying that. If you buy that, you got to get rid of this. So I went to buy a car a while back and I couldn't sell my van fast enough to be able to buy the car. And she's like, no, you got to get rid of one before you can get another one. And I'm like, all right. Because she goes, there are 2 Camaros out in the garage that need to be worked on. And she goes, you're not, I was like, well, I don't have enough room in my garage. I was like, once we get the shed built, we can put everything in the shed and then I can work on the cars again. I have a 78 and an 82. So, but, oh man, now I definitely got to go. Dog wants out. So, will you take care, sir? And
okay,
I will talk to you later, man. Have a good one.
All right. Yep, you too. Thanks.
Yeah.
We've exhausted every medical treatment we have in our arsenal. Everything. I'm afraid she only has about 8 weeks left to live.
I'm looking to hire you to find something for me. It's a very specific item that's relatively impossible to locate.
What is it that you're looking for?
It's said to have healing powers.
Good morning, Mr. Rockwell.
Oh yeah, Betsy, you're in early.
Good morning, Mr. Rockwell.
Wow, Sandy. Looking as lovely as ever.
Babe, it's my mom. She needs me over there. You know she's been sick.
If you need help taking care of her, I'd love to meet.
I swear her tits are actually innies. It's like I'm feeling up a 10-year-old boy.
There is a subtle little operation I could provide that might give you a slight edge.
Oh, well, what?
Bigger boobs. You made the right choice, my dear.
Holy crap!
Do you like them?
They certainly pull the room together.
Did she always have those?
I'm definitely all woman now, and so much more.
There is a great evil surrounding you. No, within you.
We'd like to ask you a few questions. May we come in?
I have a set of fun bags with the hunger for human flesh.
All you need's a pair of fun bags, and you'll never be a bag hag.
They're flappy and slappy. They make me very happy. They make me want to bust out into song.
All you need's a pair of fun bags, a leather teddy and a ball gag.
Bazoomas, palookas, guns like bazookas. Bow down before the great and powerful tits. How's that for alliteration?
All you need's a pair of fun bags.
They're officers of the law, and sometimes you gotta get icky.
Sag.
Yo, killer rack. Look, Godzillas that will crush you in your sleep.
All you need's a pair of fun bags.
I'm writing my review right now.
All you pair of fun bags. All you need's a pair of fun bags.
We'd like to thank Tim for coming on tonight onto the podcast. I will put all Tim's information, put some of his trailers and all that fun stuff in here. As always, group therapy is brought to you by RU Game, the best comic book collectible all around geek shop located in Pickle, Ohio at 124 North Sunset Drive, Pickle, Ohio 45356. And as always, watch me every Friday for Sci Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturday Morning Serials, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. And as always, you guys have a good night. Take care, and I will see you next time for more Group Therapy Podcast. Later.